Hi everyone, this is Heidi, and this morning we were surprised to wake up and see a couple inches of snow had fallen and blanketed the whole world this morning. So we didn't know there was snow coming, so it was a bit of a surprise. This is kind of the first real big snowfall. It's only a couple inches, and it'll probably melt tomorrow because it's supposed to be really warm again. But it got me thinking about winter again, and where we live in Wisconsin, winter is pretty full on, like we get some really cold weather and usually a lot of snow. So, got me thinking about the different ways that the animals prepare for winter. And, some leave. They fly south, right? They migrate because there's not enough food anymore to feed all the animals that are here in the summertime. There just simply isn't enough food because the berries are all eaten, and the leaves have died back, and all sorts of things that the animals rely on for their food source is buried under the snow or dormant or dead for the winter. So when there's not enough food, the animals kind of have to decide, like, all right, they evolve and figure out, well, am I going to migrate, or can I hibernate, or can I take shelter and hunker down? So this week we're going to talk about hibernation and what happens to some of these animals when they're triggered into their hibernation. And there's a variety of different things that happen, right? So there's a couple different kinds of hibernation. Sometimes people think that it just means that they go to sleep, that they sleep for the winter, but it's very different than sleep. It's a much more intense kind of slowing of your heartbeat, slowing of your breathing, and their body temperature gets much colder, so they don't end up burning all the calories that they do to keep their body warm. So, trying to think of, let's see, like there's bears and bats, and one of the funny animals that I noticed something this year, that we had a really warm fall, and so I thought, oh, there's these chipmunks that are everywhere. They come into our house because it's not totally closed up yet, so they're coming into our kitchen all the time. And we had this really warm week, late into the fall, and the chipmunks were all over still. And then one day, on a Friday, there were no more chipmunks. And I thought, well, that's odd, because why would they hibernate when it's still warm out? And I looked it up. I was doing some research about hibernation, and I learned that chipmunks are one of the animals that are triggered not by temperature, but by the daylight. So it happened to be when the days were getting shorter and there wasn't enough daylight to keep them. It just triggered something, and they knew it was time to go. So all of them, they were all gone. And it's the same in the spring, actually. It's just, I should clock it on my calendar, because it's just one day all the chipmunks are around again. So they wake back up. So, but every animal's a little bit different. Like the bears don't go into a full hibernation. They they go into more. It's more like sleep, but it's deeper than that. So it's people argue about whether it's a true hibernation or not, and so it's a little bit different. But they slow down their breathing. They even, like, sometimes give birth to their young when they're still hibernating in their den. So I thought we would do a little investigating about hibernation, and also take note of what happens to our own bodies. I noticed, even when I lived on Kauai in the Hawaiian Islands, during the winter, I still felt this shift within me. Even though it wasn't cold, there was no snow, I felt this shift of sort of my own body tuning into, like, the shorter days, the longer nights, and kind of that inward hibernation energy. So I thought we could kind of take a look at how is our own energy shifting this time of year too, whether you live in a cold climate like this or not. So, all right, I look forward to hearing about your adventure. Have fun.